The reverse chimney effect, when your roof sucks air into your attic. Your attic fan might be the reason your energy bills went up instead of down. In fact, it could be pulling conditioned air straight out of your living room, costing you hundreds of dollars a month while rotting your roof from the inside out. And the worst part? Most homeowners have no idea this is even happening. I've been doing roofing for over 2 decades here in New Jersey, and I can't tell you how many homeowners I've met who thought they were doing the right thing by adding ventilation, only to discover they were actually making the problem worse. The scary part? You can't see this happening until it's too late. But here's what you need to know. According to the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, improperly balanced attic ventilation can increase cooling costs by up to 10% and create moisture problems that lead to mold and structural rot. This isn't some fringe issue. It's a physics problem that affects thousands of homes, and most roofing contractors don't even talk about it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what the reverse chimney effect is and why it may be happening in your attic right now, and what you can do about it before it turns into a $20,000 problem. The good news is, once you understand how your roof is supposed to breathe, fixing this is actually straightforward. What the reverse chimney effect actually is. The Building Science Corporation puts it this way. The stack effect, where warm air rises and exits to the top of a structure, is one of the most fundamental principles in building science. But when ventilation is unbalanced, that stack effect can reverse, creating negative pressure that pulls air from unintended sources. And that's exactly what I see happening in homes across New Jersey. Here's where it goes wrong. When your ventilation system is unbalanced, meaning you don't have enough intake vents to match your exhaust, the system can reverse. Instead of warm air rising and exiting cleanly, your attic develops negative pressure. And when that happens, it starts sucking air in from wherever it can find it. Ridge vents, roof penetrations, gaps in the decking, even small cracks you didn't know existed. Let me give you a real example. I had a homeowner in Monmouth County call me because her energy bills had increased dramatically after she installed a powered attic fan. When I inspected the attic, I found exactly what I expected. The soffit vents were blocked by insulation, so the fan was pulling conditioned air straight from her living space through ceiling gaps. She thought she was ventilating her attic. What she was really doing was air conditioning it and paying for every degree. The reverse chimney effect isn't just inefficient, it's destructive. It makes your HVAC system work harder, and it shortens your roof's lifespan as a result of not properly ventilating your attic. This is important because most homeowners think ventilation is a simple more is better equation. But what matters isn't how many vents you have, it's whether they're balanced. Your attic needs to breathe in a controlled way, with intake and exhaust working together. When that balance breaks down, your entire roof system starts failing from the inside out. The number one cause, power attic fans without proper intake. A lot of homeowners get sold on electric attic fans with promises of lower energy bills and a cooler attic. And in theory, that makes sense. Pull out the hot air and your home stays cooler, right? But here's what the Florida Solar Energy Center found. Power attic ventilators could actually increase energy costs when installed in homes without adequate passive intake ventilation. The fans create negative pressure that pulls conditioned air from the living space into the attic, forcing the HVAC system to work harder. That's the part they don't tell you at the home improvement store. Those fans are designed to move a lot of air, often 1,000 to 1,500 cubic feet per minute. That's great if you have enough intake ventilation to support it. But if your soffits are blocked, undersized, or non-existent, that fan becomes a vacuum. It starts pulling air from wherever it can find it. And that means your living space. I inspected a home in Somerset County where the homeowner installed 2 powered attic fans, thinking it would help. His AC was running constantly, and his bills were through the roof. When we inspected his attic, we found insulation completely blocking his soffit vents. We found zero airflow. The fans were just recirculating air from his house into the attic and then forcing it out through his roof. He was literally paying to cool his attic instead of his home. If your soffit vents are open, you need about 1 square foot of intake for every 300 square feet of attic space. And that's assuming balanced exhaust. Most attics don't come close to that ratio, which means the fan can easily overpower the intake and create negative pressure. If you have a powered attic fan and your energy bills haven't gone down, or worse, they've gone up, this is the first thing you need to check. The fan isn't broken. The system is just out of balance. And when the system is out of balance, you're not just wasting time on electricity. You're creating conditions for long-term moisture damage, mold growth, and structural deterioration that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars down the road. Blocked soffit vents, the silent killer of airflow balance. Soffit vents are those small perforated panels under your roof overhang. They're supposed to allow cooler air to enter the attic and feed the ventilation cycle. But here's the issue. Insulation contractors, pest control companies, and even homeowners themselves often block these vents without realizing it. Let me explain. When insulation is blown into an attic, it's easy for it to pile up against the roof deck and cover the soffit vent openings. I've seen attics where there's 18 inches of insulation sitting right on top of the intake vents. The homeowner thinks they have great insulation and proper ventilation, but the system isn't breathing at all. When your intake vents are blocked, but your exhaust vents are open, your attic develops negative pressure. The air has to come from somewhere, so it gets pulled in through gaps in the roof decking, around penetrations, or even backwards through the ridge vent. That's not how the system was designed to work, and it leads to moisture intrusion, condensation, and energy loss. Think of it like trying to breathe through a straw while someone's pinching it halfway shut. You're still pulling air, but it's coming from weird places, your nose, the sides of your mouth, wherever there's a gap. That's what's happening in your attic when the soffit vents are blocked. The fix is simple in concept, but requires attention to detail. You need to pull back the insulation from the soffit areas and install baffles, which are foam or cardboard channels that keep the airflow path open. It's not expensive, but it's critical. If your soffit vents aren't functioning, your entire ventilation system is compromised. This is why I always tell homeowners, don't just assume your vents are working because you can see them from the outside. You need to get up in the attic and verify that air can actually flow through them. Because if those soffit vents are blocked, every other improvement you make to your roof, new shingles, better insulation, upgraded ridge vents, none of it matters. The foundation of the system isn't working. How air leaks from your living space make everything worse. When your attic develops negative pressure from unbalanced ventilation, it doesn't just pull outdoor air. It pulls conditioned air from your living space. That means the air you just paid to heat or cool is being sucked into your attic through ceiling gaps, recessed lights, plumbing penetrations, and duct chases. The U.S. Department of Energy makes this clear. Air leakage from conditioned spaces into the attic is one of the leading causes of moisture accumulation and energy loss in residential buildings. Sealing these bypasses is often more effective than adding ventilation. Most homes have dozens of unintentional openings between the living space and the attic. Every recessed light fixture, every ceiling fan mount, every plumbing stack, every wire penetration. These are all potential pathways. And when there's negative pressure in the attic, these pathways turn into one-way valves, pulling your expensive conditioned air up and out. I worked with a family in Bergen County who couldn't figure out why their second floor was always 10 degrees warmer than the first floor in the summer. When we did a blower door test, we found massive air leakage through their ceiling into the attic. Their attic fan was creating so much negative pressure that it was literally sucking cool air out of the bedrooms faster than the AC could replace it. Once we sealed those leaks and balanced the ventilation, their comfort improved and their bills dropped by 20%. In winter, this issue gets even worse. Warm, humid air from your living space gets pulled into the cold attic, where it hits cold roof decking and condenses. That's how you get frost, ice dams, mold, and eventually wood rot. I've seen attics where the sheathing is black with mold because homeowners had no idea their ventilation system was pulling moisture from their home into the attic. Air sealing your attic floor is just as important as balancing your ventilation. You can have perfect soffit and ridge vents, but if your home is leaking air into the attic, you're still wasting energy and risking moisture damage. This is why I always recommend a comprehensive inspection, not just looking at shingles, but understanding how the entire system works together. Because when you fix one problem but ignore another, you haven't solved anything. You've just shifted where the damage happens. How to know if you have the reverse chimney effect. Warning sign number 1, your energy bills went up after adding ventilation. This is the biggest red flag. If you installed an attic fan or added roof vents and your bills didn't go down, or they actually increased, you've got an imbalanced problem. The system is working against you, not for you. Warning sign number 2, you see frost or condensation in your attic during winter. If you go up into your attic on a cold day and you see frost on the underside of the roof deck or condensation on the rafters, that's moisture being pulled in from your living space and condensing on cold surfaces. That's a reverse chimney effect in action. Warning sign number 3, your HVAC system runs constantly, but your home never feels comfortable. When your attic is pulling conditioned air out of your living space, your HVAC has to work overtime to keep up. If your system is running nonstop, but you're still uncomfortable, air leakage and ventilation imbalance are likely culprits. Warning sign number 4, you have mold, dark stains, or wood rot in your attic. These are signs of chronic moisture intrusion. If your attic ventilation is reversed, you're pulling in humid air that's condensing and creating the perfect environment for mold and wood decay. Warning sign number 5. Your soffit vents look fine from the outside, but there isn't any airflow. This means that either those soffit vents are blocked from the inside or they are undersized. Either way, your intake ventilation isn't doing its job. Here's what I recommend. Start with a visual inspection of your soffit vents from the outside. Then go up in your attic and check if insulation is blocking the vent openings. Look for baffles in those channels that keep the airflow path clear. If they're missing or crushed, that's a problem. Next, check for frost, stains, or moisture. And if you have a power attic fan, measure the intake ventilation area and compare it to the fan's CFM rating. That's cubic feet per minute. If the numbers don't match, you've got an imbalance. Most of the time, fixing the reverse chimney effect comes down to 3 things: clearing blocked soffit vents, installing proper baffles, and sealing air leaks from your living space into the attic. If you have a powered fan and insufficient intake, you either need to add more intake vents or remove the fan. I know that sounds drastic, but an unbalanced powered fan does more harm than good. Now, if you're in New Jersey or Pennsylvania and you want peace of mind, check the link in the description or give us a call. We've been doing this for over 20 years, and we'll make sure your roof is protecting your home the way it's supposed to. Let's recap what we covered. The reverse chimney effect happens when your attic ventilation is out of balance, usually because of blocked soffits, overpowered exhaust fans, or air leaks from your living space. Instead of warm air rising and exiting cleanly, your attic develops negative pressure and starts pulling in air from unintended places. That leads to higher energy bills, moisture damage, mold, rot, and a roof system that fails prematurely. The good news: once you understand how airflow is supposed to work, fixing it is straightforward. Balance your intake and exhaust, clear blocked vents, seal air leaks, and make sure your system is working with physics instead of against it. For more on ventilation, make sure you watch my video, Why Your Attic Ventilation is Failing and Costing Thousands. If you thought ventilation was complicated, wait until you see what happens when heat moves through your roof in ways you didn't even know were possible. If you're not sure whether your attic is helping or hurting your home, don't guess. Get it checked. A quick inspection now could save you thousands later. And if you found this helpful, hit subscribe so you don't miss what could be the most expensive mistake hiding in your home.